Hello, Leos, and welcome to this, your January 15th through January 31st reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. Before we dive in, I just have one quick announcement to make, and that is stick around all the way until the end. I do have a new feature that I will be presenting at the very end of each of my zodiac predictions videos, and that is answering your yes no questions. So if you have a burning question that requires a yes no answer, please stick around all the way until the end, and I will give you an opportunity for you to ask your question, pose your question, and we'll pull some cards and see what comes up for you, Leos. Now, let's dive into your reading. Last time I did a reading for you covering the time frame from January 1st through January 15th. There was the Hermit that came up for you, and there was a number of cards that came up that showed that you had some deep inner work to be done. Let me just check my notes. Yeah. Hermit energy coming in, deep lessons, and some self-care. So, have you been looking after yourself, Leo? How have things been going? Let's dive in and let's pull some cards for where you're at now. Interestingly, I'm being called to a deck that I don't use a whole lot in these readings anymore, but I got called towards it, and I guess now I know why, because the cards are jumping out already. For those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. They are authentic. They are just recorded as is. Also, please excuse my microphone being in the frame this time. I had some complaints last month that my microphone wasn't quite close enough to my mouth, so hopefully the audio is okay on this one. Where are you at now? Gates of Triumph. Success expands in your life. Yes. What a beautiful way to start off your reading, Leos. Gates of Triumph. Success in your life. This is an indication that as we've moved into 2024, you are starting to see the fruits of your labors, whether your labors are here in the physical 3D world or whether you've just been working towards manifesting something new. The Gates of Triumph is just a really positive card, and it's a card. Sorry, the sun's going in and out underneath clouds today, so my lighting's gonna change, and I'm not doing anything about it. The success that's expanding in your life is you, like, what's coming up for me intuitively is up until this point, you have heard about, you've read about, you may have taken some courses and seminars that our thoughts become our reality. And for some of you, it was instantaneous. You're like, yep, definitely. And you believed it and you went forth with that. But for the vast majority of you guys, of you Leos, you tend to be, it takes a little bit longer sometimes for what the masses are doing to kind of sink in. And this card coming up right now is you guys going, yes, now I'm seeing it in my own life. When I get out of bed in the morning and I think, it's going to be a really crappy day, and then you go to get out of bed and you stub your toe and you realize you're out of toothpaste and you get in the shower and the water's cold and you're going, did I seriously manifest this? Alternatively, you get up in the morning and you have that great big stretch and you say, today is going to be an amazing day. And you hop out of bed and you bump into an old friend on the metro on the way to work. And you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in ages. And you reconnect and you go out for an amazing lunch and your boss comes over and gives you accolades for something that you did. You're coming to the realization that our thoughts and what we're putting out into the world really, truly affects us on deep, deep, deep levels. And as you further integrate that into your DNA, into your belief systems, Leo, that's when some real magic is going to start to happen. All right, I'm getting called over here. Sorry about the racket. I do keep my cards kind of sitting partway in their tins or boxes. All right. So, what are the Leos focusing on? Where are they putting their attention for the remainder of January? Page of Cups and the Empress. What are you trying to put out there, Leos? Okay. Page of Cups is the romantic page. He's a little bit naive sometimes, may indicate, you know, how we all have that one friend in our lives who is a little bit socially awkward. That kind of describes the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is a positive card because that one friend that we all have in our lives that's a little bit awkward is always the friend that that helps us to really truly see our humanity and embrace our compassion and empathy. And so this is an indication that one of the things that you are concentrating on or focusing on, Leo, for the latter half of January is this Page of Cups and this um, recognition of your own compassion and empathy that's going on. And then you also have the Empress coming in. And again, the Empress is all about compassion, empathy. She is also about birthing a new idea. You will notice here that she is pregnant, and it appears as though she is pregnant with the world, indicating that she is filled with a world of ideas and opportunities and whatever. And so this card coming out for you right now, Leo, is all about you being on the verge of coming forth, bursting forth with a brand new idea. But your brand new idea, again, with this Page of Cups as well as the Empress being here, is going to somehow change or shift more people into that state of empathy and compassion for their fellow mankind, womankind, however you want to word it. But I do feel like these two cards coming out together, I mean, the Page of Cups isn't normally completely read like this, but this is what's coming up for me intuitively for you, Leo. And it's as if what you are working towards doing right now in this moment. Oops, I forgot to plug in my computer. I should probably. What you are doing right here in this moment is bringing forth something that is going to help in the new age of Aquarius. It's going to assist more people at connecting with their fellow humanity. And yeah, I believe, Leo, that you're on the cusp. Like, when I do a reading like this, sometimes it'll come to me instantly, the type of career or change or shift or the direction that a particular zodiac sign is going to be drawn towards. And all I can say is that, Leo, it is something that has to do with humanitarian type work, but it doesn't look like anything that we've seen in the past. It doesn't look like the typical humanitarian type work, you know, the Red Cross, UNICEF. I'm having trouble coming to mind. The Salvation Army, these types of agencies that reach out when there's a disaster or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you having this big, huge idea that is going to literally transform the humanitarian model. Yeah, like this is huge. But even if it's not a humanitarian aid type model thing that you are aiming towards right now, Leo, if that's not resonating for you, I do feel nonetheless that whatever it is that you're on the verge of birthing at this time, this grand new idea that you have, that it is very much world changing. I mean, I can't pick up specifically what it is because it is so different. You are creating something out of nothing, literally, at this time. And that's beautiful. It's going to be really great to see you work through this. Difficult influences and challenges. Let's see what comes up for you. Difficult influences and challenges for Leo. Latter half of January, please. Okay. Okay, so there's three cards that popped out together. The very first card that popped out for you is the Death card. Interesting. And it looks like the Death card was stuck to the Tower card. Powerful energy is coming up. And then you also have the Knight of Pentacles. And oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll get to the Knight of Pentacles in just a moment. But in your difficult influences, you have the Death card. Now, the Death card is about life, death, and rebirth, but not in the sense of our physical body. It is about the death of some aspect of ourselves that's no longer serving humanity and no longer serving our own highest good. Like I said, over here with what you were focusing on, I am literally seeing you bringing to life something that is going to change or alter potentially the humanitarian industry, but whatever industry it is that you are focusing upon, you have an idea that is actually going to be changing and life altering for a lot of people. But in order for you to bring that to fruition, there is an aspect or an old belief system you're going to have to let go of, Leo. And if you don't let go of it voluntarily, the Tower is coming in directly behind the Death card saying, all right, well, if you're not willing to let go of that belief system, we're going to show you how to do it. And it might be a little bit more uncomfortable if you let the universe do it for you than if you actually do it yourself. That's essentially what the Tower is that the universe is trying to get your attention. And the universe is saying there is something that you need to let go of. You probably already know what it is. It's a belief system. For some of you Leos, what's coming in for me, the belief system that you need to let go of in order to be able to bring forth this Empress energy is your imposter. A lot of you have imposter syndrome. If you're not familiar with that, please go ahead, look it up. It's basically about not feeling good enough, about feeling like, oh, well, I have this great idea, but nobody's going to be interested in it. It's kind of silly anyway. That kind of attitude, that kind of, okay, we're going to go backwards here, Leo. With this Gates of Triumph card, I was talking about you suddenly realizing that your thoughts become your reality and you really truly integrating that into your DNA and your everyday life. And as you did so, you stepped into the energy of this Empress and went, yes, I have this amazing idea. And then all of a sudden, partway through the month, you went, but I don't know if I'm good enough. Nobody's going to like my idea. In which case, if you allow this to manifest, if you allow that belief system to manifest, the I'm not good enough belief system, how are you ever going to birth this idea that you're focusing on? Okay. These two cards are about letting go of a belief system. They're in your difficult influences. So it's not going to be easy for you to just say, I am good enough. Damn it, I am good enough. Okay. It's going to take some deeper work, some shadow work, some, I don't know, even some hypnosis to let go of this belief system. But when you do, it's going to be really, really beautiful. You also have the Knight of Pentacles here, and the Knight of Pentacles is about a change in careers. I knew this was about your career. I knew this was about you going into something that's going to be life-changing and life-altering. Now, this coming up in your difficult influences is telling me, Leo, that there is an aspect of leaving the machine, leaving the industrial complex, leaving the paycheck, the regular paycheck that the great industrial complex gives you every 2 weeks or whatever. There is some aspect to that that absolutely terrifies you. And so there is this sense of fear. Oh, I can't possibly go into this new thing. Again, this is telling us what the belief system is. This card, if it was not appearing in difficult influences, would be saying, you're about to make a career change. It's going to be beautiful. There's this knight on his horse riding into your life with all these good tidings. But the fact that this is in your difficult influences and challenges is saying that you're bumping up against that with a belief system telling you, I can't step out of my box. I don't want to step out of my box yet. When you do finally step out of your box, Leo, this is what you're concentrating on. This is the energy that you're bringing into it. The gates of triumph. Success is going to expand in your life. But you are going to have to get over certain belief systems first. Let's take a look at messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. And that one's on the floor. I love it. I can see it because it landed face up. Let me just get that off the floor for you. Leo, we're talking about you having to give up a certain belief system, possibly a belief system about whether you feel like you're good enough or not, so that you can birth this life-changing idea out into the world. There is some naivety about this. You're not quite sure of the path to take. You're feeling kind of awkward. It is unfamiliar to you. You know certain aspects of it, but you don't know all of the ins and outs. And this is the message that the universe wants you to hear at this time. Lead by example. Step up, step into that leadership role, step into that mentorship role, and bring your ideas forward, Leo. Now is the time. The cards are indicating now is the time. Let's have a look at what is unexpected for you. Unexpected for Leo's latter half of January 2024. Got one card that flipped out, but I can't see what it is. It landed face down. Anything else unexpected? Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. Leo, in your unexpected, you have the 9 of Cups. This card corresponds to laziness, or better worded, complacency. I do feel like there is, because you have the gates of triumph coming in as you're coming into the latter half of January, you feel like everything is going your way. So maybe I don't need to take any more steps right now. That couldn't be any further from the truth. Do not allow laziness and complacency to get in the way of you pursuing your goals. Why? Because I can tell you right now, if you are intended to be birthing this great big new idea in 2024, I can tell you right now, if you allow laziness and complacency to come into what you are working towards, these 2 cards are going to continue to make appearances, the Death card and the Tower card. The universe does not want you in that place. The universe does not want you here, but the temptation is definitely showing up in January. And you have this card. I absolutely love this card. This card is the understanding card. Now, I'm going to turn off my light just for a moment so that this will focus. You will notice on this card that you have a bird right here sitting in front of a cage door. the cage door is open, and this bird is looking longingly at all of these birds up here who are flying around in freedom. This bird is you, Leo. This is indicating that you have a choice at this time. This is the understanding card. Okay. Is this bird trapped? I don't know. Do you feel like you're trapped by the industrial machine and that you can't get out of your current job and that you don't want to make that decision because, oh, okay. Now, Leo, I do want to present a disclaimer here. I am not a financial advisor. I can't give you specific advice about whether you should leave your job or not leave your job or um, whatever the financial consequences may be with regards to the decision that you need to make with regards to birthing this new project and what that's going to look like for you. I do want to say this is indicating that you are headed towards making some really, really big changes with regards to your career at this time. Whether that looks like you actually quitting your job, dropping everything, and moving full time into this new idea, or whether that looks like you dabbling in something for a period of time before it gets to the point where you can birth it out into the world. I don't know. And I can't make that judgment call for you, Leo. Only you can make that choice based on your personal circumstances. Remember, this is a general reading for all of the Leos that are out there. But what the cards are indicating is you are moving towards a change or a shift in your career, whether that be staying in the same industry, but moving into, for example, you may have been in manufacturing and maybe you're looking at moving into, development or something like that, or whether it means that you're planning on doing like a full left turn and changing industries altogether. I don't know what that looks like for the individual Leos out there. What I do know is that there is a huge shift. The cards are indicating a huge shift, but you need to understand about whether you are the bird in the cage or whether you're going to spread your wings and fly. You may feel like you're trapped. You may feel like you can't go anywhere because you've got the mortgage and the car payment and you've got this regular paycheck coming in and you don't want to rock that boat because mortgage and car payments and family and food on the table and so on and so forth. So you may feel like you're trapped. This card coming up in your unexpected is asking you to look at your circumstances, your specific circumstances to each and every separate Leo. Like I said, general reading, and determine whether you are going to stay in your cage or spread your wings and fly and what that looks like for you individually. Only you can make those choices. I can't. And I'm not going to make those choices for you. All I can do is show you what the cards are saying, and that is do not allow yourself to fall into complacency. You are meant to be birthing something out into the world. And unless you let go of a belief system, I want to say the belief system is feeling like you're not good enough. Unless you let go of that, the universe is going to step up and make some changes for you. Final general overall outcome for Leo. Oh, goodness. Okay, so the fairies are at it again. They're being mischievous, as fairies are. And so what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to pick up all of these cards because there's at least 20 cards that have come out so far. We're going to pick them up and we will mix up those cards and see which of these cards we're going to narrow it down, which of the cards is yours. Mischievous little fairies to start off 2024. Okay, so we've got quite a pile of cards here. Let's mix up this pile of cards and narrow down your final general overall outcome, and also begin to think of your yes, no question. That burning question that requires a yes, no answer. And again, this is a general reading, but we will definitely ask the cards. All right. Final general overall outcome for Leo for January 2024. We have one card out. I do sense that there's one more to come out. That one? That one. It didn't want to go back in. Okay. Final general overall outcome is 10 of Spring and the Awakening card, also known as the Hanged Man. 10 of Spring is the equivalent to the 10 of Wands. And this is a card of don't be afraid of asking for help from others. You'll notice on this card, it is depicted as a character that almost looks like Cinderella. And remember, when Cinderella wanted to go to the ball, she had to get the house cleaned first, which was going to be an impossible task all by herself. And so she whistled and sang a little song, and all of the little creatures came out and helped her. That is the message of the 10 of Wands. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So, with regards to, maybe even you're supposed to ask your kind of awkward friend for help. Maybe they have some insights that you haven't been able to see yet. But with regards to this idea that you are looking to birth out there, and this change and this shift that it looks like you may be making in your career some point in 2024, sooner rather than later, don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay, ask for help. Not only should you be stepping into the role of being a leader with this lead by example card, but also don't be afraid to ask for help, because leaders also have mentors. We have a tendency to put leaders up on this pedestal and think that they're almighty and that they're doing everything by themselves. And the reality is they aren't. I'm going to use the example of Elon Musk. Do you think Elon Musk got to where he is on his own? Absolutely not. He has an entire team. I would say he has an entire army that helps him and assists him, that he bounces ideas off of. Granted, he gets the final word. And I do feel like in the future, Leo, you're going to be in that position of getting the final word. But, the initial decision, the initial idea that gets put out there may get changed and shifted in Elon's world based on him bouncing these ideas off other people. Okay. So I'm just throwing it out there that even some of the most influential people on the planet have a team behind them, and they're not afraid to ask for help. So don't be afraid to ask for help, Leo. And the Awakening card. This card corresponds to the Hanged Man from the traditional tarot. This is about seeing things from a different perspective. And we did see right at the beginning, the very first card of your reading was that you were in the process of seeing things from a different perspective and recognizing if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you put that attitude out there for the day, it has a tendency to come back and bite you. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, I'm not going down that road, today's going to be a great day, then that has an opportunity to change and shift the energy and change and shift what happens to you. That is what the Awakening card is about. Being able to see things from that different perspective, being able to see things at a deeper level as well. Okay, Leo, I'm going to leave off your reading there. Let's move into your yes, no question. So bring your question to mind. You may want to close your eyes. You may want to ask your question several times in your mind. And I'm going to shuffle the cards. Cards, we require a yes, no answer for Leo, and we do have a card that's jumped out. It's on the floor. I don't even know what it is yet. All right. You ready, Leo? In response to your question, here is your answer. Ooh, it's a yes. Okay, Leo. Thank you so much for being here. If this resonated for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It really does help me to build and get these messages out to more people. And I hope that you will allow me the honor of doing your next reading for you at the beginning of February. Take care, everyone.